The narrow gauge railway was running smoothly. Engines were back from repairs, and the addition of Luke gave the engines time to rest. Even so, Rusty was worried. "I hope we all stay on the rails today. My driver told me a railway inspector is coming later this afternoon." "I'm not worried about a railway inspector. I have work to do," said Duncan. "Maybe you should be. He won't like your rocking and rolling if I have to pull you back onto the rails." Duncan rudely let off steam as he puffed out of the sheds. Duncan arrived at the station to pick up his train. Skarloey was there as well. "Did you hear? A railway inspector is coming today." "Ugh, enough about this railway inspector. I just want to pull my trains and get back to the warm sheds at the end of every day." Duncan left the station, leaving Skarloey behind. Duncan puffed along the line, rocking and rolling as usual. "I'll show Rusty and those steamers." He arrived in the yard and dropped off his train for Luke. He noticed a man standing alone next to the signal box. "Can we help you?" asked his driver. "I have a meeting with Sir Topham Hatt at the station and cannot be late." "We'll give you a ride," said the driver. Duncan much rather pull his next train, but he didn't have much of a choice. He and his driver had no idea that the man on board was indeed the railway inspector. Because of this, Duncan rode roughly along the line, wanting to get to the station as quickly as possible. "Slow down," called the driver, but it was too late. Duncan came off the rails at the bend just before the station. Rusty was resting at the station and saw everything. He quickly came around to pull Duncan back onto the rails. Sir Topham Hatt was embarrassed. "Our apologies, Mr. Inspector." Duncan was now embarrassed as well. He had no idea that the man on board was indeed the railway inspector. The inspector stepped out of Duncan's cab, and to everyone's surprise, he was impressed. "This engine may have come off the rails, but your diesel here came to the rescue immediately, preventing any further accidents. It seems this railway is in good hands despite the many accidents that may happen." Everybody was relieved. Even Duncan, who felt better now too, apologized to Rusty for being rude. "You're always helping us engines get back on the rails, Rusty." And it proved really useful to the railway inspector. Rusty smiled as the inspector stepped into Sir Topham Hatt's office, and Rusty and Duncan headed back to the yard, buffer to buffer.